Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here with the new chair of South Australian Harness Racing Stewards, Barbara Scott. Barbara, welcome and congratulations on your appointment.
Thanks, Tori. Thank you. Very pleased to be here.
Now, I'll get this question out the way first, the one everybody expects me to ask you. How's it feel being the first female chair of stewards in Australia?
Yeah, obviously a very proud moment. It's an achievement that I'm proud of, and it's something I set out to do probably a few years ago. I set my sights on getting the top job, so yeah, I'm very proud.
Well, as I've said to others, there are successful female trainers and drivers and people through the industry now. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Gender's not a requirement in racing, and yeah, that's my firm belief.
As I said before, we've got that question now done with. You're from New South Wales. How long have you been a steward?
I've been a steward since 2006. Started off as a trainee steward, just part-time, north of Sydney in the Newcastle area. Was a trainee for about 16 months and then got put on full-time on the Sydney panel.
And how did it all start for you?
Well, my interest and my love of harness racing started probably 30 years ago. I was employed by a company called Parramatta Livestock, who were the livestock auctioneers, and they did the annual yearling sales. And my boss was George Aiken, who is the father of current trainer driver David Aiken in Victoria.
Okay.
So that's where my love of harness racing started, and through that job I met my husband, now former husband, who's a trainer driver, and we set up a partnership together and quite successfully. And then after our marriage ended, I continued to own horses that he trained, and just continued on in it. Yeah.
So you were the boss, you were the owner?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did as I said, for sure.
And how was the relocation? Now, was that hard to do, or how have you found it?
Yeah, well, I guess any move interstate is difficult. I've got family still in New South Wales, so it was a big decision, but a decision I was happy to make, knowing that I could come here and make a difference.
And speaking of that, can we expect any changes?
I think so. I think, part of my role here is to look at a whole range of things and improve them. So I'll be focusing on things like integrity. I'll be looking at some of the rules that are currently not enforced in South Australia and just having a discussion with people about whether we need to change that. And there are rules such as the change of tactics rule, the current ease-out rule. We need to have a look at whether that needs to be changed, and just a few other rules that I think we need to revisit. In addition, I'm going to be looking at things like penalty guidelines, so putting together a document where it assists stewards and it assists drivers and trainers to know that if there's a breach of the rules, this is the kind of penalty that you can expect. So it's a document that's very transparent, and it's published and made available to everyone. So I guess there's no surprises in the stewards' room if they come before us.
Well, as I say, everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet then.
Exactly right, yeah, and it's fair and it's transparent, and it just assists everyone.
Now, Barbara, the rules you referred to, are they in place in other parts of Australia?
Certainly the change of tactics rule is. Coming from New South Wales, it's enforced quite strictly there. I find that a lot of people don't have an understanding of the purpose of the rule, and the rule is there to protect punters. It's so when punters have a bet, they know exactly what the tactics are going to be on a horse. So that's the reason for the rule. Stewards have other rules available to them, in particular Rule 149, where we can take action against drivers if we believe that they haven't given their horse every chance. But they're two separate rules, and I think we need to revisit it.
Okay, you must have seen some good horses over the years. What are some of the best?
Have seen some good horses, and going back a long way, I think the best horse I've ever seen is Popular Arm. I recall a race at Harold Park, and I was there, and it was probably the mid-80s, and I think he went about 155.9, and that's an amazing time around a half-mile track, and that was the old Harold Park track. So he was a fantastic horse, late Vin Knight, very eccentric character, and he would just give me goosebumps every time I saw him.
And he had some competition in those days. Paleface Adios, my favourite, Koala King, and a few of those, and he beat him most times than not.
For sure he did, yeah. He was just fantastic to watch. And even nowadays, Smoking Up, we can't go past Smoking Up. He just keeps on going and going. And to be still competitive at an elite level at his age, he's just an amazing horse, and looking forward to seeing him next Sunday.
Well, that was it. He's coming Sunday, and we're making him accessible to the public, which I think is fantastic because, look, you don't see out-and-out champions that often, and you don't see them here too often.
Exactly, and I think champion horses have a presence about them, and, you know, it'd be great for people just to see him up close before he finishes his career.
Well, the kids were chanting Smokey on Cup night, and I hadn't heard that for years.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That everyone gets involved, everyone gets behind a champion, and that's what we love to see.
Barbara, thanks very much for your time and good luck. I know there's no problems with your new appointment, and welcome to South Australia.
Thanks very much, Tori. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, new Chair of Stewards, Barbara Scott.